Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chasing Rank. Hopefully, you are doing well. We are here once again on a Tuesday night for another live stream. Make sure if you are joining us that you are hitting the like and the subscribe button. And joining me, as always, are Dom and Damo. How are we going, fellas?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Bit of a rough couple game weeks, but yeah, not too bad. And yourself, mate?
All good with me. Dom, how are you, mate?
So a few horrendous game weeks in a row. So
That way you're hiding your rank on screen as well.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, I was just having a little look as well, and all of us were within 1 point of the next person this week. So we've all had a bit of a stinker, but our teams are very, very different, which is interesting. So kicking us off for Fallers and Ballers this week is Damo, first of all. So share screen. Now, where have I got Damo? There's Damo. 44 points. Talk us through your side, my friend.
Yeah, so it wasn't a good week, that is for sure. Nice little red arrow. Somehow stayed in the top 200K, so positives in that. Obviously, a lot of our fallers are going to be just Liverpool players in a game that I thought Liverpool would have won comfortably. To have us scored 3 goals and Gakpo not be involved and now be injured is not great. And for us not keep clean sheet either against Leeds is worrying. To the point where I think I'm going to bin all 3 Liverpool assets off with these 5 free transfers. I'm a little bit worried where my football club is heading at the moment. But yeah, so all 3 Liverpool assets are probably my fallers, along with the fallers as well. I think Haaland's probably worth a mention. Maltamade had a pretty good fixture, probably worth a mention. Just think it was just a bad game week in general for the team. Obvious ballers is definitely I picked up O'Reilly and straight away we're going to return. So nice to be part of the City defense. No, Dom would be happy with that. I'm struggling for free ballers because I don't want to put Mbeumo in there because I actually expected more than what he did. And when Bruno's outperformed him so much and the chance he's missed previous weeks, you really needed a big haul. So I don't think 8 points is enough for him to be a baller. But Bruno G, we were talking about him a lot. We were a little bit unlucky in game week 14 where he got this random benching, but he came off the bench and scored. So now to see him get 10 points here, he's nailed for 90. Everyone's talking him. About him and, us 3 hyped him up before anyone was on him. So, yeah, look, I think Bruno G is definitely the big baller from the game week. But, it's still early enough in the season. As you said, we're only 1 point between each other in terms of game week. And a couple good game weeks see us back into the top 50, 75K easily. So,
still I agree with that. I think there's a lot of movement to be had over the next few weeks. Everyone's got transfers now to be made. So, it's a lot of people going to be changing their teams. So, my turn, 45 points for me this week. I had one big call to make, and we obviously didn't go live in between the midweek game week and the weekend. My decision was Gyökeres versus Senesi, which cost me 7 points. I thought Arsenal probably wanting a win and to keep the momentum going and an opportunity to give Gyökeres 60, 65 minutes ahead of the Champions League. Was disappointing for him not to start, but he still played a half. So, disappointing that he plays a half and gets a yellow card and doesn't do much. And other than that, there wasn't a lot I could do with my team. I know you spoke about Mbeumo before, Damo, and hindsight's a wonderful thing because he was flying before I went to Bali. I then made the move whilst I was in Bali from Bruno to Mbeumo, and now it looks like next week I could literally just make that move back the other way. Because I don't love the other midfield options, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But ballers for me, James Tarkowski gets it done once again. DC, clean sheet. Everton just humming along nicely. You got a couple hard games, but then a really good turn of fixtures for them. So I'm very happy having an Everton defender in my side. And Bruno G is probably the other one, really. I don't see much else on my side. Mbeumo, he scores, but he misses a volley. He had a one-on-one that he should have absolutely buried in the first half as well. That was the frustrating one. It would have been another Bruno assist of all things. But if Mbeumo slots the one-on-one away and his goal and walks away with 2 goals, I think we're a lot happier. So other than that, nothing too much to talk about. We'll get into teams a little bit later. And the winner on the week is Dom on 46 points. So 44, 45, 46. Talk us through your fallers and ballers, Dom.
I did not know until 2 minutes ago that I was the best scoring of the 3 of us. So
Everyone.
there's a mini win for me. The first one I've had in.
Is your defense? Everyone returned.
So,
Yeah, that's it.
And captain, because we captain Haaland. So think about it this way: you captain the Buemo, and you beat me by a point, and I captain Haaland.
Yeah,
Same.
seems like my FPL runs here. So, well, the last 3 weeks definitely. So, Fowlers, got to be Cody Gakpo. What is going on? We're going to touch on Liverpool. Big talking point about that whole club. But still, they've still scored 3 goals, and he just did not get a bar of it. Had chances again, but killed me.
Ekatike is the guy.
Foden.
If I knew Ekatike was going to play every game, he's
so hard to know though. So hard. They've just signed Isaac. Anyway, don't know what's going on there. We'll touch on them. But 2 weeks ago, I had the choice between Gakpo and Foden. Guess who I went?
Yep.
So, disappointing. Haaland, obviously, 3-0. Can't even go. I didn't captain him, so I'm kind of glad he didn't do that. Didn't do anything. But anyway, Semenyo's so unlucky again. Had a goal ruled out. But I feel like with those players at that price point, they're going to go on runs 2 months without incredible, and then they're going to be unlucky. So probably Minte again. He's just dropped off drastically the last few weeks, so that's disappointing there. Bowlers, once again, Nico O'Reilly. Probably my favourite pick of the year. He's just gets it done. He's just locked into that City defence, and he's actually a great footballer. I think he'll be a smoky for the World Cup and could easily line up at the left back spot. Just inverts, does it all. Great footballer. I'm going to give my second bowler to Chris Richards. So there's not many to choose from, but he gets DC. I think it was the only one in that back three that did. Obviously, Guehi scored, but yeah, to take it for 4.5. But definitely the baller of the week for me is Mbuemo captaincy. Could have definitely had more, but I think if I went Haaland, my rank would have been ridiculously low. So I'm going to say thanks to you, Brian, and the last parting gift before he ducks off this week.
He's got one more week, unless you're selling him.
Yeah, sorry, this week. I mean, before he ducks off this week, he's gone. Not sure if I'm going to sell him or not. Not sure, but yeah, probably.
He's got the ball game, which if Senesi doesn't get up, I think there'll be goals there.
I think he's a start regardless. United are showing signs. I know it's Wolves, which we'll also touch on. But yeah, anyway, mini win for me.
All right, let's jump straight into it. We've got quite a bit to get through tonight. I just want to bring up the fixture ticker. I don't fully understand what the points mean here, but I've got it sorted by easiest overall fixtures, game week 16 to 21. So that's not like easiest defensive fixtures or easiest attacking fixtures, or would you guys rather me focus on attack and defense? What do you reckon we should do?
I think overall.
I think overall is better too. That's why I've got it on overall. So Brentford from game week 16, Leeds, Wolves, Bournemouth, Tottenham, Everton, Sunderland. I think there's going to be lots of goals here. Something to be mindful of with Brentford is this week there's no Shada, and then from next week onwards there's no Dango. So interesting time. So Thiago, I think his benching was more tactical than injury related. I know there was rumours of him having a knock going into the Arsenal game, but that's a typical Brentford thing. Play a big team, go to 2 up front, and then bring him on if needed. Newcastle next. I've seen a lot of people talking about the Newcastle fixtures not being brilliant. I don't think Sunderland, Chelsea, Man United, Burnley, Palace, Leeds are that bad, considering Man United lose their whole right-hand side to AFCON. They lose Mazraoui, they lose Ahmad, and they lose Brian and Buemo. So I think that Man United fixture there in 18 is not the worst to target for Newcastle. And I think the rest of that's pretty solid. Man United, again, I mean, I'm looking at potentially buying Bruno Fernandes for this run. From 17 as the Mbuemo replacement. I don't love it, but I don't love the other options, and we'll talk about projections later. West Ham, Damo, Jared Bowen, is he an option?
No.
I lost to a Jared Bowen captain of this week in a head-to-head league, so I wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, been there, done that. Not particularly. I can't get behind West Ham. at the moment with the way they're playing. Same way I can't
Yeah.
get behind Liverpool assets the same way they're playing. So yeah,
I'm the same. I can't buy into anyone at West Ham. Like, it's just so bad. So don't
When
touch
Bowen
them.
moves, when Bowen finally gets his move, he's gonna be the first team player in my FPL team.
Yeah, depending where he goes, but he's a quality asset. Then it's Arsenal. I mean, I just think Arsenal assets are brilliant. We've spoken the last couple of weeks about triple Arsenal defense, and it's actually something I'm considering. I'm considering at some point getting off of Virgil to a third Arsenal asset and having Timber, Raya, and by that point probably Calafiori, and just run the three Arsenal defenders and pray that they can start keeping some clean sheets. What are your thoughts on that? Instead of having Saka or Declan Rice?
Yeah, look, definitely tempted. Especially when Gabriel comes back, I think it's more viable. You know that he's going to be locked and be good for DC, etc. But yeah, I definitely think back when we were wild carded, the play was free Arsenal. None of us were just brave enough to do it. And we would be so much more on the upside over the Saka. I have been lucky with a couple of Saka captains at the right time. But yeah, I think it's definitely the way forward. I think is just triple Arsenal defense, the best defense in the league. Lock yourself up. Those 6 points for the clean sheet plus whatever else they get every week. And
yeah, nice. And I think Saliba's pretty close to coming back, but with Mosquera out, Hincapié is not the worst option now. But if Saliba's back this week, I think you could probably go Saliba from, say, 18 and just ride that run. Brighton, Villa, Bournemouth, Liverpool, and be pretty happy with triple Arsenal. Burnley, we don't need to talk about. Everton, I wouldn't be buying anyone until game week 18 when it's Burnley, Forest, Brentford, and Wolves. I think that's a good time to look at a Dewsbury Hall or a Tarkovsky. Probably the 2 that I'm looking at from Everton. I wouldn't go anyone else. Man City, again, we'll see how they shape up through the Champions League, but we're all going to talk about Phil Foden a little bit later. Liverpool, I wouldn't be buying one. And the next question we're going to jump to this question. Harry Wilson from Fulham is looking good. My concern with Fulham, as Damo's pulling up his numbers, I'm assuming.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm looking at.
My concern with Fulham is they've got quite a lot of wide players that all rotate in and out of those spaces. So you look at Adama Traore, you look at Chukwueze, Harry Wilson, and then there's another winger as well that are all, none of them are playing 90 minutes. And there's a Wobie who gets moved around quite a bit. I think if you're looking at a Fulham asset, it's Raul Jimenez or Anderson personally. I don't think I'd touch the winger. Chukwueze come on against City and scored a double, and was it Chukwueze that did that? I can't remember.
Yeah, he did. Then he got the start. No, it was him. Yeah. Then he got the start.
So I just think there's a bit too much rotation. There's Smith Rowe as well, who plays out wide too. I just think there's a bit too much going on at Fulham for me. Is there anyone else on the fixture ticker we want to talk through before we brush over the games, before we get into projections?
Not really.
Yeah.
I think Everton's good to pick up from game week 18. It's probably a little bit too early, but yeah. I think then if you're looking there, you're looking at the defenders like Tark would be not a bad pickup. So if you want to go a couple of weeks
Dewsbury
early.
Hall. Dewsbury killing it.
Yeah,
I like him as an enabler.
Yeah, correct. That's what I'm looking at. I've been trying to fiddle around with what I'm going to do with my fly free transfers, and these keep popping into the team as someone that I would look to bench and then play in those better fixtures as an enabler.
He's the best of that 5 million, 5.5 million bucks.
Yeah, I agree. I will say that I definitely think that Enzo Lafite has a pretty high ceiling at Sunderland as well.
They're depleted now though. After game week 16.
And their fixtures aren't as good. But I think that's the only thing I've mentioned is that, and I would also say don't go Liverpool.
Who do they lose?
They lose like 8 players.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's not good for them at the moment.
Good thing I stole Jacka this weekend then too. All right. What did I say? Projections time. Oh no, quick whip around review.
Great point there from Jackie. Sorry, Chukwueze. I think he goes to AFCON. He's Nigerian.
Ah, yes, because he's Nigerian. Oh well, that might actually be a good thing for Harry Wilson then.
Yep.
We'll see if Wilson pops up on the projections coming up. Villa Arsenal 2-1. Dom, you watched most of this one, I think. You want to give us a quick 30-second
whole game. Whole game. It's so good. Incredible. Villa just looked unreal. Like first half, all over them. Arsenal came back in for the first 10 minutes of the second half, but just Aston Villa just looked the part, and they're flying under the radar. Like look at that effective ownership there for Villa players. And then just to get that goal at the end, they so deserved it. And as a Chelsea fan, seeing Arsenal lose in the last minute like that was just great. I think I was messaging you boys in the chat. You were asleep. It was about 1:30. I was like, boys, get up. It was just insane. So many options there, though, and so many good point of differences from Villa. Actually, what was their run like, Paul?
I'll bring it up.
It's not good. I've just looked at it.
Yeah.
A lot of people going Munoz to cash.
Yeah, so like if you're looking at Villa's
Their
current,
second bottom.
Yeah, if you're looking at
West Ham, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Forest, Palace. It's not great.
And then Everton as well, who will be defensively pretty solid. So it's not
Okay.
the greatest. It's good for a 1 week punt this week if you're 1 week punting. But if you're not 1 week punting and you're looking for
if you're going to free hit this week, triple up. But that's a shame because they are brilliant and
they're looking good.
So many good assets there.
Might be worth a 1 week punt on one of their players if you can bench him. But I think the assets you're looking at are like Rodgers and Watkins more than likely. Are they really benchable at their price?
Nah. Watkins had 2 good chances. Raya put off 2 really good saves. But Arsenal's attack looked abysmal. Saka was the only real spark there, and he had to get taken off because he was probably not far off getting sent off. He was lashing out. Defense looked not as solid as you expect. I thought they were going to hold out, though, for the 1-1, but Villa deserved it. And Arsenal,
they're missing pieces, though.
Yeah, they missed it with the 2 centre-backs, the main one. It has didn't think it had that big of an impact on them, especially going forward. Like Gyökeres just looks bang average.
I mean, it's the same conversation we've had with Isak. He's underdone. And that's probably my fault for not, like, something for me to learn and for something, if someone can take it out from this year for next year, maybe just don't even bother new signings that join pre-season. Like, just avoid it. Like, Wissa come on and took some minutes away from Voltemade this week. But what's the chances of him actually, like, not getting injured again? Because he's barely moved for 3 months. So I'm just a little bit concerned, that Gyökeres might not get going this year. And the same with Isak for Liverpool and the same for Vissa for Newcastle. I think there's a bigger conversation to be had about what goes on with the transfer window and all of that stuff. But I think maybe it's time to really not look at players that aren't having solid pre-seasons because they just don't get through the season. So he just looks leggy. That's the thing. He just looks leggy. He doesn't look like sharp.
His legs are heavy. I said he's played like he's got concrete in his shoes.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Good punt for next year, but
Chelsea game. Dom, far away again.
I'll be quick. Bit of a bore fest. Bournemouth probably deserved to win. Had a goal ruled out. Semenyo looks sharp. Like he's got to have some attacking returns coming soon. Oh no, he's off to AFCON.
No, he's not.
Garner didn't
qualify.
Garner did not qualify.
Yeah, hold him. They're coming. Chelsea looked bang average. I didn't realize how much of an impact Caicedo would have, but I guess that just shows how good he is and how much of an impact he has on the team. Palmer back looked very shaky, very average.
It'll take a while.
It will take a while. Once again, he's played 10 minutes. He only played like a handful of minutes this season. So, yeah, Chelsea have a good run coming up. So I'd hold any assets there. But yeah, another clean sheet for Chelsea. Well. Yeah, that makes it interesting for Guiu owners. Might be worth a punt, but yeah. Anyway, moving on. I don't want to talk about it.
Everton Forest. I mean, the Forest defenders are starting to do what we thought, but they're not keeping the clean sheets this year, which is concerning. Elliot Anderson, once again, with a 4-pointer. He just keeps ticking along. I'm very happy having Elliot Anderson. But let's move over to the Everton side of things. Again, Tarkovsky, DC, and a bonus and 2 bonus points. Keane, DC, and a bonus, and Dewsbury Hall goes crazy. As we've spoken about already, it's funny that Grealish this week decides not to do anything, which is nice for my sake and my sanity. But with Njai off to AFCON as well, it's a little bit, what are they going to do? I think they'll probably start integrating Tyler Dibbling in off the right and keep the rest of the shape the same. So we'll see what that looks like. But again, I don't think there's too much to talk about here. Would not be buying any Nottingham Forest assets whatsoever. I will.
Yeah, you can't go near him. I called it on the pod when they beat us, and I was like, they were very lucky. I thought we played great, even though we lost 3-0. the only person you can get is Mr. Anderson. Great enabler. If Everton didn't have great fixtures from 18 onwards, Anderson would be the best one. But with Drewsbury Hall's...
I'd rather Dewsbury. If I had my time again, I'd rather Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah, correct. But unless you like playing both of them, then Harry Wilson was already mentioned previously. I honestly think if you're buying right now a 3-week game week punt for Wilson with their wingers going and him just playing 90, I think that's a good 3-week game week punt there. And the worst thing that happens, you put him on the bench and deal with him at a later date anyhow. I
agree. City game, Foden goes crazy, and he just looks like back to 2023 Foden as well. He's just looking quality. And, people say that he's streaky, but I think this is time now. If you don't have Foden, you just got to set and forget, buy him. He went in at 52% effective ownership, and that's why our scores were really bad. I think even at my rank, Foden was extremely highly owned, and that absolutely killed me this week. So you need to get that. Plus, I don't have a City defender at this stage. So no, O'Reilly's hurting with Ait-Nouri going in a week's time. I think O'Reilly is going to be fantastic.
Yep.
Cherky, I wish he could just be locked in for minutes because just from a footballing perspective, he looks brilliant, but I don't think
he's so good.
Go there. Yeah. I just don't think you can go there, but he is a great footballer. And Marmoush going maybe helps a little bit as well, short term. But I don't know. I feel like Savinho, Bernardo, Doku, there's options there out wide. I think Foden's really nailed down one of those number 10 roles, and I think you just need to have Haaland, Foden, and one of the fullbacks, and away you go. Because Nunes and O'Reilly's just look set and forget. I think, I know Vardiol scores, and so does Ruben Diaz, but I think the fullbacks just provide a bit better value for money and for the same minutes. What do you think, Damo?
Yeah, look, I agree. I think Nunes is quite the pick. I think O'Reilly's quite the pick. Look, Ruben Diaz gets the goal, right? And he has some goal threat. I think if any City defender you land on, if nailed,
that's their best four.
Yeah, he's got to be fine. And I would say that 4 is their best 4 and the 4 that you'll likely see. I think City can sniff the blood in the water. Arsenal starting to, just splutter a little bit. Yeah. And this looks like City of old right now. Yeah. Foden back to full form. When you watch this game, you're like, geez, this is the City that got 97 points, right? That's the data we're seeing from City. That's the numbers Haaland's putting up, even though he's maybe not converting as many chances as he should be, right? If it clicks, they're going to win the next 20 games. If it clicks, they won't lose a game for the rest of the year. So, yeah, I think that 4 ain't going to change too much, and I think Pep knows that, and I really expect City to come storming home in this title race.
Yeah,
I also want to touch on, look at O'Reilly's bonus point system there. No goal, no assist. One BPS.
Yeah, sat at 36.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's with nothing. Like no goal assist.
No DC, just a clean sheet.
Just what a player.
Well, Matheus Nunes is sitting there at 32 as well. So it shows you the fullbacks are involved. And the minute they get a return, they're guaranteed.
They definitely are involved at the moment.
And thank you, Ola, for your kind words. We are very grateful to be back. If you are new here, guys, we would appreciate a like on the stream and a subscription. There will be some more short-form content coming over the next week or so because I'm finally getting a bit more time back on my hands. This is a crazy period for everybody, but we're getting there. And over the Christmas period, I will be a bit more active on these shorter form videos. Newcastle, Burnley would have absolutely loved a Voltamata return here with that 40% effective ownership and the 3 of us owning him. But Newcastle, we were talking about how bad they were a couple of weeks ago. I think they've really turned a corner. We get the Bruno G goal from the corner, which, won't happen every week, but shows that he is a decent enough asset. These are not the games where I expect him to get DC. I definitely expected against Sunderland. I expect there to be lots of options there and lots of a lot of hard tackles in there as well. So I think there will be a bit going on there. So I think Newcastle assets, I still don't think defensively I'd really want to buy. I think there's better teams to target defensively than Newcastle. I think they're still a little bit leaky, but if you're a Dan Burn owner, I think Damo sees a Dan Burn owner and he gets lucky with the early substitution and gets the clean sheet there and gets a bonus point out of it. But Burnley, I just don't think we're going anywhere near there. Spurs and Brentford, I don't think we need to talk too much about this game. Xavi Simons finally looking like the player Spurs have cried
Invested in.
out for and invested in. But again, I'm not going anywhere near Spurs and Brentford. The only player I'm probably going to touch there is Thiago. So, thoughts?
Yeah, look, I would agree. I think Brentford will pick and choose their games, so they'll play well and save their season and not go down. And I think
You want them at
Spurs,
home.
Yeah, correct. And I think the only person you really want from Brentford is Thiago. I will say that Collins always seems to get around the DC mark. He's not prolific, but he does get DC. And they do have some good fixtures coming up. Their next three is Leeds, Wolves, Bournemouth, and Leeds and Bournemouth are both at home. So it ain't the worst. Bournemouth aren't the team they were about 8 weeks ago. So for the next three, if you are looking for maybe a cheaper defender at 4.9 and DC, Collins is maybe a pick. But yeah, I think the only one you want there is Thiago, and he's 6.9 million now, so like he's flying up in price. So yeah.
All right, Damo, you haven't said much. Fire away. I woke up for the second half, and after 5 minutes, I thought I was going to go back to bed.
Yep. All I'm going to say on this is do not buy a Liverpool asset. Do not own them. I've planned 5 free transfers, and I still have to keep Virgil van Dijk because I just think the fixtures are too good.
Yeah, I agree.
You really aren't buying a Liverpool asset until Slot gets the sack, and I am more in the camp now that will happen than not. If you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said I wouldn't sack him at all, depending on what happens this season. But with things how they've gone, especially with the Salah situation, I would definitely be looking to get him out the club quick, smart. With that being said, your assets, once a new manager comes in, and God forbid it's Ange Postecoglou, because it would work pretty perfect. It would be, Wirtz would actually play in a preferred position. You'll get Ekitike playing every game week. And then all of a sudden those two become quite a good asset. But right now, I wouldn't be touching any of them with a 10-foot pole, if anything, and this might sound strange to do so. I would target Liverpool as a fixture, as an attacking fixture.
Well, the effective ownership's interesting. Our run's good. It's like Brighton, Spurs.
Yeah, so our next
Leeds.
3 is Brighton, Spurs, then Wolves at home. And then after Wolves, it's Leeds at home and Fulham away. We then get Arsenal away as well, but then Burnley at home. And the only game we'll play well in that whole run is Arsenal away, because it's a big team and we'll decide to rock up and we'll beat them 1-0, because that's what we do. And then we'll lose everyone else.
I think the issue is definitely personnel based now. Like it stinks.
It's just crazy. It
just stinks at the moment. And
it's definitely something rotten going through the football club. It's a certain bold man who thinks that they're only players that can play a Dutch. Without me getting too passionate and too upbeat, and me watching all Liverpool content all day today, working from home, I wouldn't be going near Liverpool at all, and expect Liverpool to probably finish anywhere from 14th to 9th this season if they keep Slot for the full year. So yeah.
Do you think they'll sack him?
Pardon?
I don't know.
Do you think
if we lose midweek, if we lose and
what I think will happen is Inter will slam us in the Champions League. The players are trying to say the right things, but it's quite clear that they all stand with Salah with what's going on right now. And I think that the board are smart enough to know that as much as a player isn't bigger than the football club, the fan base is the biggest thing part of this football club. And the fans are turned. And I've never seen a manager have this uproar of turn so quickly. And I feel like Liverpool's a club where, okay, we could be 5th in the league right now. We don't care. The fans are against you. We can't have that at this football club. You're gone. It's a fans club. So
I don't say no player is bigger than the club, but no manager is bigger than the club too.
Yeah, correct. And I think, look, Slot would have no backbone if he doesn't drop Salah right now. But Slot should have done this 3 weeks ago and did it properly and said, I'm going to bench you right now because you're not in form. Not, pressure's on, my job's on the line. Now you're staying off the team. And he's like, well, you've already made your bed. Now you got to lay on it and you got to play me.
Go bench Gaspo.
His man management's poor. It's got to his head. And honestly, I think I could go in and do a better job. So, yeah.
Yeah. From a Leeds perspective, though, from when they scored that penalty, man, they flicked the switch and they actually
the new system looks good. The 4-3-3 looks good. And I'm telling you, we talked about him about 7 weeks ago. And then we all got on him for bench boost and it went tits up. But now in the new system, and now he's back from injury and starting, and Anton Stack, what a baller.
He gets dropped DC, as well.
He generally does well for DC, goal and assist, on some set pieces. Another one of these enablers that you could put an asterisk next to, keep an eye on and maybe go to towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I think if they can stay in that system, like, I know it doesn't work every game, but they need Calvert-Lewin fit too. Like the out ball he gives, like he gave Kanate trouble for the whole second half with aerial balls and hold up play and link up play, and we just couldn't deal with it at all. But anyway, Brighton West Ham. I've not seen a thing of this game. Bowen absolutely killed me in a head-to-head, as I said before. Don't panic if you're a Minte owner. He's going to have games where it fluctuates. I think this would have been one that you circled and gone, all right, this is a chance for him to get 2 assists or a goal and really contribute. But I think he'll be fine. Brighton do this. They'll have the odd game that they capitulate in, and then they'll go and put 2 or 3 results together where they probably perform overs. I don't know how well Brighton go having to play through teams that sit a little bit deeper as well. I think they're a bit more of a side that want to play on the break and sit in a bit deeper. But someone to keep an eye on is Van Hecker. He's actually been looking really good lately, more from an attacking perspective. He's not heaps on the DC side of things. As JS pops in and says West Ham destroyed Brighton. I've got no idea what happened in this game. I'm not going to pretend to know. So we'll move on from that one. Anyone got anything to say there?
Not much.
No,
I wouldn't go near any West Ham
game.
asset. And Brighton, if you got Minte, you can hold him. If you do want to get off Minte, look, theoretically, this is a good week to get off him because that's Liverpool away. But I think that's a pretty good fixture, to be fair. So I would be keeping Minte unless you're doing something that I'm planning to do. So, yeah.
All right, last 2 games, Fulham Palace. I mean, the goal comes into death as well if you're Fulham, and it takes a point off of Anderson, which is surprising that he only got 7 DC this week as well. I thought this would be a game that he would get a little bit more DC in, but Fulham weren't too bad in this one. I mean, Palace get the job done without Munoz. I haven't heard anything. They're still saying it's a knee injury, but I think
he's not the player he's not the player that's been reported for being.
He's not.
No, apparently it's Ivan Toney, is the reports I've seen. So yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, very, very weird segue, but that's what I've read today, that it's not Munoz. It's a case of mistaken identity and it's Ivan Toney. But I don't know how true any of that is because, my sources are pictures on Twitter and Facebook and whatever. But yeah, anyhow, long story short, if you've got Munoz, play by ear, wait for press conference news. If you have a Palace defender,
see what happens in Europe this week as well.
Yep, correct. If you got Mateta, I think he's
sell.
Must sell, not playing. It seems Nketiah is back to some fitness, and it seems like they're trying to manage Mateta's fitness at the moment. He's struggling to pay out 75 minutes. You need
That's got so many games.
Yeah, you need 90-minute men. So we enjoyed a great run of Mateta data and a great run of Mateta results, but there's times to pick up these players, and this is the time to get off Mateta. If they cop a couple of injuries, like Nketiah goes and a couple of the others go, and he has to play 90 every week, yet again, you'd be straight back on him. But yeah, this is the time to get off him.
Yeah. All right, last game before we get into some projections and what we're going to do this week. I mean, Wolves are shit. Wolves are so shit.
Hey, dog.
I thought at 1-1 they might have been able to do something, and then it was just goal. And I was just like, wow. They're so bad.
The worst Premier League team in history.
Yeah, which I think on paper they shouldn't be, but I'm now going to agree with you, Dom, that they're not going to beat Derby's points tally.
I think they will. They will not get over. Is it 11 or 8?
Yeah. As in, I don't think they're going to get to 11 points.
No, they'll be single digits. They lose like 4 or 5 players for AFCON as well. Like 2 of them are starters.
Yeah,
like,
I just don't.
Maybe
I think
3 are starters.
Definitely a fixture the target. So much so I might have a certain captain this week.
They're the biggest target fixture we've ever seen in like 10 years of playing FPL. Home away.
Doesn't matter.
If you're playing them,
load up.
Play there.
Yeah, try and load up. That's for sure.
All right. Well, Bruno Fernandes, you get the penalty, and you get a very lucky goal. Like the goal he scores to make it 1-0 is just. I was watching it live, and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me! Like after the 2 chances and Buemo missed, I'm like, is that seriously how I'm going to lose rank this week to a shit back pass that goes nowhere and that he falls over on the cutback?
It's like Wolves didn't even bother tracking. Like they didn't even.
They just gave up.
They were just nowhere. They just given up. Like just gotta get him already.
They definitely did. Now, my question is if you've got someone like Buemo at the moment, do you pivot to Bruno, or do you go to Foden, or do you try and get both in? Is Bruno essential all of a sudden? He's the highest scoring midfielder. I did say in our preseason preview stream that I thought we would get 200 points this year. Is he someone to go to?
I've got that decision to make this week. Should I go to projections? Because we're going to roll into projections.
Yeah, we'll roll into it. It's probably a good segue.
Um,
I'm currently not on him in my latest draft, but that's mainly because I want to keep a certain Arsenal midfielder.
I have this exact decision to make. Bruno, Saka, right? So everyone's got Haaland, and if you don't have Haaland, get Haaland, right? So
If you don't have Foden, probably get Foden.
So I have this decision to make, and I can make it this week if I want. I don't think moving Mbeumo to Bruno this week makes a whole lot of sense for Bournemouth, but do I want Saka for this week? But then I don't love Saka longer term, where I rather Bruno in my side longer term. So what my initial plan right now is to not use the transfer this week, gain a transfer next week, and then use it on Mbeumo to Bruno next week. So I know it means I don't target the Wolves fixture, which is annoying, but I don't want to use a transfer to bring Saka in this week just to bring in Bruno in next week. So I'm thinking of just holding Mbeumo and then bringing Bruno back in and reversing the move I made 6 weeks ago. What are our thoughts on that?
I don't know where I'll sit because I'm looking at I could potentially do Saka to Bruno. I
wouldn't do that.
I could potentially move money out of my attack to have Bruno, Saka, and Foden in my team. But in my current draft, I'm actually planning on having the free strikers of Walter-Marte, Thiago, and Haaland. So I don't know where I go. There's also one plan where I actually look to move Walter-Marte and down to another fodder striker and only one run striker. So I can run Saka, Bruno, and Foden together with a pretty stacked defense. But yeah, I think personally, it depends on what type of manager you are. I think if you're looking for the flair pick and the player that's going to go and get probably the bigger returns, I think it is Saka. I know that might be a bit of a road call because he hasn't returned as much in the last. We just know what he's capable of. This guy's
the minutes is concerning me too. I don't think he's going to go back to being a 90-minute guy this year.
I don't know. We've said this, and then he goes and does it, and then gets.
I don't think he will though.
I think that Arsenal squad's too good now where I think the minutes come off.
That's why.
I think Bruno is the longer term play, but I think a midfield that contains Saka and Bruno you'd be pretty happy with.
Thoughts, Tom?
Give me Bruno and Foden every single day of the week.
They just do it all for their team where like the Arsenal attack actually isn't looking great either. No. Like, there's so many moving parts in it. You've got this Odegaard, Eze stuff. You've got Trossard in and out. You've got the Gyökeres. You've got Havertz coming back. You've got Madueke, who looks all right. You've got Saka.
There's just a lot going on. They've got like 6 guys who are just halfway there. Like, City are just flowing. Just absolutely flowing.
And United do everything through Bruno.
Yeah. And United will concede 3, but they'll score 2, and he'll be part of it.
Yeah. So I was praying he missed a penalty today. I'm not going to lie about that. But
of
course, when I don't own him, he scores his penalties.
Yeah,
when I own him, he misses 2. Like, what are the chances? You know what I mean? Like,
that's FPL for you.
But what I like with Bruno is, like, I know Saka takes the right-sided corners, but Bruno's set-piece delivery is elite as well. And Man United have actually been one of the better sides for converting goals from set pieces too. So, you know, I think Rice has kind of overtaken Saka at Arsenal as the guy getting the FPL assists from the corners, where Bruno seems to be the guy getting it done. Anyway, look, and you do save 1.2 mil. Like, that is a factor as well. Like, it just allows you to use that money elsewhere too. So, bit of that. Declan Rice coming in at 7 mil. I don't know. 7.1 for Rice just seems too much now. Thoughts, Damo? I know you're a bit anti-Rice.
No, I'm anti-Rice. I've always have been, and he's been burning me every time I say it. I just don't see him as a pick. He's not a pure defensive midfielder that wins DC. He's not a pure bombing on box-to-box midfielder that gets super further forward. He just kind of sits there, but he does everything. I think 7.1, you've made your bed now. It's kind of like Thiago. Like, I'm just trying to justify getting Thiago into my team because I think the fixture run's good for Brentford. But 6.9 million is, you know, are we really thinking he's 6.9 million? It's the same thing with Rice.
Well, he's 7.1. Oh, is in Thiago 6.9?
Yeah. So I think it's the same conversation between the two. Like, they've rose so much in price. Are they actually worth it? And then if they start blanking or they start losing minutes, you know, they're just going to drop big time because the ownership's going to plummet. I don't know. I personally don't think I would go there. And I think there's 3 better assets for Arsenal. And personally, I think all 3 would be at, goalkeeper and 2 defenders.
Yeah. That's what makes me want to go Bruno as well, because it keeps that third defender slot open for me to move Virgil off when I'm ready to get Gabriel back. So I'm kind of thinking that far ahead of the future as well. So if you told me I could have Bruno and Gabriel versus Virgil and Saka, I'd rather have Bruno and Gabriel to go with my Timber and Raya. Semenyo, Dom mentioned it. I just think if you've got Semenyo now, you ride it. You get United, Burnley, Brentford, Chelsea, Arsenal's not great, but then you get Tottenham, Brighton and Liverpool. I think that's a really good run of fixtures for Semenyo, who will be fine. So that's fine. Dom, you brought up Cunha last week. Any comments on what you saw this morning or any change in what you...
had the assist to Bruno. I feel like he could have taken it and scored himself. Like, it would have been so much easier if he just done that. Like, they made it so much harder for themselves. But I think he's a play if you want a nice point of difference. Like, instead of going Bruno, chuck in Cunha. I think he's a bit cheaper. No Mbuemo for 3-4 game weeks.
About $1 million. I'd rather just pay the $1 million there for Cunha for Bruno.
If you're chasing some rank or you want a good point of difference and you don't want to go Bruno, go Cunha.
I mean, Bruno's ownership's only 20% though.
Still, the upper echelon of players will have him. 3.7% ownership player.
Then Palmer, I wouldn't go Palmer until this run here starts. Or Fulham, maybe
and then he's really integrated again.
Yeah, and his fixtures post game week 21 look brilliant. So hold off, get a chance to watch Palmer, let him get match fit, and away he goes. Trossard not going there, and O'Reilly is a very good option. We'll do one refresh. Thiago, love the option. Zabozlai, hate the option. Mateta, hate the option. Bruno, love it. Kanate, don't even consider it. Romero, I don't think the fixtures are there for Spurs, but if you are getting a Spurs defender, it would be Romero. He has the goal threat, he has the DC threat, and he has the ability to get a red card threat, but he's the best of a bad bunch, I think, for Spurs. So just not the time to get on them. You're probably looking here as an opportunity, again, if you wanted to go something really different, but I don't think under Thomas Frank, they've really found their feet. They are missing Madison, Kulusevski, Solanke. Like, they're missing some big players in that squad as well. So I think we can give Spurs a little bit of credit that they're not running on full bore. And I don't really think any of these guys are worth considering. Yudoku, Odegaard, Virgil, bloody Isak. Thoughts, fellas, before we go to our plans?
No.
All right, cool. What we'll do is we'll have an opportunity to maybe talk through where our sides are at. Whilst we do that, if the guys in the chat want to get your comments in the chat, let us know where you're at with your side and get your questions in for us, because we will get to it. I'll share my early team. Now, that's with Saka involved, so we'll put in Mbuemo, who... This is going to kind of move my money around a little bit. So that's my current. Is it going to work? It wasn't working before. It worked. All right. Well, I actually have 2 million in the bank. So let's add the 2 mil in the bank and let's update that. So that is my current team. Game week rank 94, team rating 89. That's mostly because of Mark Guiu and Mbuemo pulling that rank down. I've made 2 moves this week already. Gyökeres is no longer in my side, and neither is Granit Xhaka. Phil Foden came in on Saturday, and Mark Guiu came in for me as well. So I'm down to 3 free transfers. The option this week is the Mbuemo move against Bruno Fernandes. I just think I'm going to roll the transfer this week, get myself to 4 for next week, get to this point next week, make the 1 move for Bruno, and away I go. What are our thoughts on that, fellas?
Don't mind it.
Good matchups.
And then the rest of the team actually looks relatively all right. Then I go into game week 18 there with 4 transfers. I've still got Verge's fixtures. I get Tark, Timber. I I'll probably just go that Anderson over that Anderson. And play the West Ham away fixture for Fulham and play the DC clean sheet game against West Ham, or Senesi away potentially if he looks sharp, and 4 transfers here, and I can really set myself up if I need to, or I can even roll one more to get to 5 and see where we're at. So that is my current team. Hopefully at 53K rank, we can start to move in the right direction and go back to that kind of midfield 4 every week. Honestly, I would prefer to play a 4-4-2 every week with my team and have Anderson, one defender, and Mark Gear on the bench. That's my long-term plan. So pick the best 4 fixtures there. Eventually have 3 Arsenal defenders or 2 Arsenal defenders, Tarkovsky and one more, or play the extra midfielder like here, Everton and Villa for Elliot Anderson. So that's where I'm at. With my side, has anyone got theirs ready to share that they want to talk through? Or
I have no idea what I'm doing, so capturing yours. I think it's a disaster at the moment.
I'm in a couple of different minds. I'm just trying to think what team I show you. Who would I keep? It's probably this boy that I would keep.
so whilst we're waiting on Damo, make sure you are hitting the subscription button. Make sure you're getting your questions in, because we will spend probably 10 minutes or so answering your questions. So get your questions in below. Let us know what you need us to answer, because it is a tight turnaround once again. I think it's Sunday our time, isn't it, this week? Yeah, everything's Sunday. Everything's Saturday. First game, Saturday. And then do we have midweek fixtures? No, we got no midweek fixtures. Nice. We are double. We don't have midweek fixtures for a while. We're 3 weekends in a row, and then the New Year's fixtures are the next midweek. So beautiful. Deadlines are easy for the next few weeks, which is always nice.
Yeah, you got Champions League, you got some cup.
I'm staring at a lot of red. Wow, I lost in this bloody head-to-head league by 3 points to a Bowen captainer. Wow.
Who even owns Bowen?
Well, this team has Murillo, Munoz, Chris Wood, who's not even playing, Milenkovic, who got 0 points. He had Pickford. Wow. He literally had 6. Oh, and he had Vardiol. God. Gross.
All right, let me save a screenshot for you, Paul.
Thank you all.
And I'll go with that. This is all 5 transfers and 1.9 mil left in the bank. And my plan would be to use it.
I played Damo in the other head-to-head league, and I beat him
by a point.
Yeah, I was waiting for that to come up. Yeah, I wasn't going to mention it, but yeah.
I hadn't even looked in that.
That's
big. Right? Oh, and I knocked him down to 4th.
Yeah.
Top that, Damo.
It's all right, mate. It's all good. Plenty of time to go. All right, let me image this up. If you guys haven't realized, I've been fiddling around with this whole time and not been happy at all. But let me walk you through what this would be. When you are ready, Pavlos. When you are ready, mate. Which is all well and good. So your transfer.
How big that is. That looks incredible.
Yeah, it's not bad. Pretty good. It looks nice up there, which is nice. Yeah, all right. So let me walk you through what the transfers are. Reyes stays. The players that are staying from the team at the moment are Virgil and O'Reilly and Larox on the bench. Your couple of defender moves are Alderete to Hincape, because I think he's going to be nailed for the next at least month for Arsenal, which I think is definitely a play. The other move is a certain Kanate who's been woeful, as Mum's talking very loud outside my door. If she could close my door, that would be great. Kanate is going to Urian Timber, tripling up on the Arsenal defense, which means I do have to use a transfer to get rid of a certain Saka. And that is to move him to Bruno Fernandes, is one of my other moves. As you can see, we have kept Bruno G. The other move that I've already made is a move from Mbeumo to Foden. And the other move, my last move, is I have moved Gakpo down to Harry Wilson to target the next 3 fixtures, especially that Burnley fixture. I'm actually very tempted to actually go to Rodgers instead in that spot and target that West Ham fixture for Aston Villa, and then just bench Rodgers in their harder fixtures and play the Rocks and play a back 5. Thoughts?
I really like that.
That's currently what I'm on. The temptation is to make one more transfer here as well.
Take a -4.
And take a -4. There was definitely some sort of plan to do that as well. And that was to try and keep Saka in the team and move Virgil down to free up funds and take a -4. And the only reason is I would captain Saka this week against Wolves. But that means I can't have triple Arsenal defense. which I kind of
Looking
like.
at that triple Arsenal defense, you've got me tempted to make the Senesi
Well,
to Hincapié move this week.
Thing is that when Gabriel comes back, I've got enough money in the bench, even if I turn Wilson into Rodgers, which I'm very tempted to do, even though Rodgers' fixtures are worse. To be fair, I think Villa against Man United is a pretty good fixture anyway, so the next two is pretty decent for Villa anyhow. And I've taught myself into it that much that I'm actually going to do that. I'd still have enough money to go from Hincapié, as long as he keeps going up in price and Gabriel keeps dropping, to go Hincapié to Gabriel once he's back and nailed. And then I can have Timber, Gabriel, and Raya.
Yeah. You've got me tempted to go and get Hincapié as well, because I know Dom brought him in when we were talking about getting Tiao and whatever last week. I actually really like that. I just had a play with my side as well, Damo, and if I go Hincapié this week for Senesi, it means I don't have to play probably Tarkovsky this week against Chelsea away, which would be nice.
But then Gabriel going to come back? That's the question.
They're saying it could be into next year.
Yeah, which is another month. He's at 6.2. If I go from Wilson to Rodgers in 6.9, it means that I wouldn't be able to get to Gabriel unless I use two moves, but it would probably move.
By
Rodgers
then, you'll have
down.
the moves.
Yeah, by then I would probably move Rodgers down and off we go. And like Rodgers' next three fixtures is you get the West Ham fixture, which is why I would go to him over Wilson, even though I think Wilson starts against Burnley and then Forest and West Ham. It's probably a better three. But Rodgers is playing for a Villa side that's flying. You get West Ham, then you get United, which is pretty good. And then when he has Chelsea away and Arsenal, I could probably move to the back five because Larox is just so good for DC. And he goes and gets Spurs, then Fulham. And I'm like, I can play a back five that week. So, you know, on comes the back five. To be fair, I actually think the move might be in the track that if Walter doesn't do it, I'm just going to move to one striker and get Calvert-Lewin and have the funds that way and just pay Haaland up front and that's it.
I mean, the strikers aren't doing it this year.
They haven't. Well, they're in patches. Like, if you can time the Thiago run before he got injured, great. And that's why I kind of want him right now, see if he hits the ground running again. At the same time, Walter, when he first came in, looked good, was pretty poor on the weekend. He's got Sunderland, which isn't an easy fixture. They defend really well. Then Chelsea's a pretty interesting fixture as well for him. United, I think, is a fixture you can still target them defensively. But yeah,
the other way you can get to Gabriel, I guess, is you take money out of Verge too.
Yeah, correct. And that's the other thing is that I could get Gabriel for Virgil, right? And then move him Compay to any 4.5 mil defender, Tarkovsky, for instance, at Everton. I would have the funds probably to
Tarkovsky's 5'4".
Yeah, it would be the same price. Verge goes up. I still have 0.3 in the bank, so it would be pretty close. Might bang on. So, yeah, definitely. I think my only question to you boys is, do you take the punt on Harry Wilson, who's got Burnley, Forest, and West Ham, which is three really good fixtures he's nailed, and with people going away for African Cup of Nations? Or do you take the punt on Rodgers, who's playing for a really good team, but has a harder fixture run? Both are obviously lowly owned. Rodgers at 10%, Wilson, I would imagine, is really low.
Go for it, Dom.
Maybe nothing.
1.9%. Can I also just say Wilson then goes Palace and then Liverpool, who I would still target?
Give me Wilson.
I mean, Villa have turned the corner, though.
Yeah, that's the reason I want to go to Rodgers, because they look good, and I feel like it's either, I just feel like it's Rodgers makes good sense as a pick. If you're going to have a punt, like, the thing is I don't have to play him every game week as well. I have 5 playing defenders from 4 really good defenses and 1 defense, which is absolutely dog at the moment, but he would get DC most weeks and has our best attacking preference.
Can I just say, Hub have Hincapié projected all the way up until match week 24, which is against Leeds.
Yep.
So I was just projecting what my team would look like. They've got him in between the 4 and 4.75 range all the way through to game week 23.
Because he's the only guy that's fit and available to play that left centre back role.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're getting that long out of Hincapié up to game weeks 23 and 24.
This is what makes me, it just feels dirty moving from an Arsenal attacker this week when they play Wolves, and it would be a differential captain.
I really rate the defense. I think they're going to win a lot of games 2-0, 2-1. These guys
are correct.
Yeah.
I think that obviously Haaland is so well owned. And captaincy against Haaland's very hard. And I've done it a couple of times where it's worked. And in one game week, it did not work. And my rank went from, about 50K in the world to 190, right? So, great. I think the gains are elsewhere. And the gains are going to be getting your big boys at the back that are going to get you your clean sheet, your DC, your bonus, your consistency of points, and then build from that. And that's where you're going to be over other people who are playing free at the back and not getting that. So, yeah. That's
and
why
taking punts on wingers that come off in this Christmas period and do dumb
which
shit
is why
like me with Yokeres and getting
I'm
1
really
point.
tempted by Rodgers. Because Rodgers is literally, this is Rodgers since game week 7. Well, game week 6, 90, 90, 90, 90, 85 against Bournemouth, 90, 90, 90. The returns haven't been there apart from the Leeds game where he got 15 points. He did get 6 points against Brighton just a couple of weeks ago too. But he's playing minutes.
Yeah.
100%.
Where Wolves have just come into minutes. But yeah.
So they'll come. It's going to come. The returns. He's on the park.
I think if you're going to make moves for City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa, Palace players, and money's not a factor, wait till Friday. Just let the Champions League and the Europa League and the Conference League come and go, and just make sure like you can make the right move. Like if Nkapie goes down and hurts himself, you'd be filthy if you bring him in tonight.
I'm not making him now. The only player that's going to go up right now, well, actually 2 of them is Rodgers and Bruno. So that would leave me about 0.1.
Damo, question on the screen there. Do you want to?
Saka and Timber owner, would you get Rice or Nkapie this week? I would get Nkapie over Rice. You guys all know that I hate Rice, but even though he's getting returns.
Yeah, Senesi to Nkapie is probably what I'm going to do this week as well.
Yeah, I would go. I would definitely keep Cunha now, especially with Mbemo about to go. Yeah, it means Cunha's just.
I like the Cunha. I like the Cunha pick.
Yeah, I think Cunha's a good. It's an educated punt because you know he's going to play a lot of minutes now coming forward. But yeah.
Get those last couple questions in, guys, as well, because we've got a couple minutes to go before we wrap things up. I think this is going to be a really interesting game week where I think we're going to start seeing people shift and slide and 5 transfers, and there's going to be lots of movement and there's going to be lots of opportunity to get aggressive, which I think if you've got triple Arsenal defense, that could be a way to really differentiate. Imagine they go and beat Wolves 1-0, 2-0 at home, take the foot off the gas. The DC's probably not going to be there. Don't expect Timber and Nkapie this week to get crazy DC because Wolves suck. And to be fair, Wolves just punt the ball forward, and whoever's there to get the clearance or the recovery. Actually, recovery doesn't count for defenders, does it? I think it's just clearances, blocks, and tackles.
Yeah.
So
I feel like they can have about 20% possession Wolves as well. So
so if you can bank a clean sheet for Raya, Nkapie, Timber, there's 18 points just sitting there in your team ready to go. What I might do for the sake of a couple minutes is get your guys' thoughts, because Damon, I'm probably going to do this with you anyway at some point. So let's just add that to the stage. If I make the Senesi to what's going on here? If I make the Senesi to Nkapie move, that's what my team now looks like going into this week. Triple Arsenal defense, Virgil and Anderson, Bruno, Semenyo, and Mbeumo, Foden, Haaland, Voltemata. Feels a bit gross benching Elliot Anderson, but I think Forrest are a bit too unpredictable anyway. So if he's the first sub and something happens and someone gets benched and doesn't come on, then he's a fine super sub. Then I'm left with 0.7-ish roughly with the Bruno move next week. Do I just full send it and bring Bruno in this week? It's probably the question. Do we just
Well, we've got to go up in price tonight. So if you want to catch that price rise, you've got to make it tonight. That's the thing.
I think I'm not. I've got 0.7 there. I think is the smart move the penalty taker against Bournemouth? That's the question.
Look, I like it. I think Bruno is a pretty good pick.
And it's like, if I'm going to make the move anyway, do I make it now?
I think the thing is that if you can make the move and the player's not playing in Europe, so there's barely any chance. If you cop a training injury, you're just very unlucky.
You're unlucky.
Then I think you can be aggressive and make the move now. Plus, it's not all your transfers. Like, I'm looking at my team, and I know Rodgers and Bruno are about to go up, but I don't think I'll make that Rodgers move until after they play Basel. In a few days' time. I think they've got a Europa League game, even though I think in the Europa League they've been rotating their team fairly heavily. Anyhow, Villa, I would have made that move, but knowing that I'm going to go to Bruno from Saka, I'm very tempted to go from Saka to Bruno tonight to catch that price right.
The reason I'm okay with doing that move tonight is because if you look at my team for the next few weeks, there aren't any planned transfers. So, like, the team plays as is for a few weeks beyond this week then. So I can make all those moves this week and make 4 and then set the team up for 3 weeks and just roll until I'm ready to move. Because really, at this point, the only moves I'm looking to make is Virgil and then dealing with Hincapié when he's done. Because that midfield 4 with that back 5, it's very rare that I'm playing Elliot Anderson in many of these fixtures. So I might make that move. So everyone in the chat saying make the move. You guys are saying make the move. Maybe it's.
I think you just do it now, personally. But I'm very tempted.
It feels gross reversing the move I made on holiday.
Yeah, it was a holiday move, mate. Your burst moves always come when you're away from the pod, mate.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I think we're doing it. That's me.
Do it.
All right.
Do it.
Before we wrap up, guys, can we get the stream up to... so we just got to 11 likes. So I was about to say get it up to 10, but I just checked it's up to 11. If you are new, make sure you do hit the subscription button. It does help us out big time. We're approaching 200. There will be a bit more content coming up on the channel over the next couple of weeks, as I already said, because I'll be around a little bit more than I have been the last few weeks between work and COVID and all the rest of it. It's just absolutely killed me. But we'll be around the place. So if you have been enjoying all the content, make sure you do get around. We got an interesting comment here as well. I don't like removing Saka for Bruno. The reason for removing it is to free up the third Arsenal slot, Toms. I mean, I think the big issue with Saka is he is eating up a lot of budget for, like, he's not producing at a rate that
he's getting an assist here and there.
Yeah, it's not the Saka of a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I agree. So we will be active across YouTube and Twitter all the way up until the deadline. You can catch us across our handles that are on the screen. Dom runs the Chasing Rank Twitter page for us as well. So if you do want to get in touch with us between Chasing Rank on YouTube, which is me, and then you'll see my Twitter regularly linked through Chasing Rank, because I do my own personal reviews on there as well. So you can get across Paulie29 at Twitch, bloody hell, on X, and Damo_23 pretty much on every platform you can think of. So between YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and on YouTube, so you can catch him there. And then Dom is at Chasing Rank on Twitter. We will catch you guys next Tuesday for another stream. Thank you to everybody that is in the chat. Thank you so much, Ola, for your constant support of us as well. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday on the stream.